Well, hello again, and how are you doing? Have you decided what you are going to specialize in? Well, I hope so. So let's delve deeper into understanding your ideal client. And before we do that, let's remind ourselves of the definition of marketing that we are working with. Reaching the people who need you in a way that makes them choose you. So you may remember that that means demonstrating a proper understanding of those potential clients so that they immediately feel that connection with you. Now we're going to continue the theme of your ideal client. So we're going to go delving deeply into who they are, how to understand them, what they really, really want, and what motivates them. And once you know that, you're going to be able to communicate with them on another level altogether. So, one thing before we start, all the content, exercises, and action that you've taken up till now still counts. So we are building your business, and whatever you've done up to this point, keep hold of it because we're going to refer to it again and again. However, the thing is, even if you do understand and do all these exercises, what you want is meaningless if you don't do the next bit and provide your clients with what they want. So, as you know, the winners in therapy businesses now are those who become attractors, and that's what this whole training is about. So you become attractive and an attractor of your potential client. And of course, you can only do that if you properly understand them. And if you understand your clients really, really well, then it makes it much easier for them to choose you. So although you have a vague idea now of the type of client, what do we actually need to know at this point? So there is a large difference between knowing and understanding, and this is how we like to think about it. Our experience is that whilst people are pretty good at knowing who their clients are, they are less good at understanding them. And we like to think of it like this, like an iceberg. The top 10% of the iceberg, which is the bit above the waterline, obviously, represents what we know about our clients. So that's the kind of information that they're happy to give us, the information that we could find quickly, and stuff that we could see if we had the client in front of us. The 90% that lies below the waterline is the information that, if we can get hold of it, is the key to our success. And it forms the foundation of long-term relationships here. So this information is the information that allows us to really understand our client. Now, I really know that I'm banging on about this, but it's really important. And, you know, we really need to make sure that we don't assume things. We should never assume that we understand people, as you know, as therapists. And it's certainly safer to assume we don't understand, given the complex processes of the mind. But what we really promise you is this: if you fully understand your clients, you understand what they want, what's important to them, how they make their buying decisions, and what concerns them, honestly, you can present your solution pretty much on the back of an envelope and they'll bite your hand off. So, you know, and they will be happy with their decision and they'll buy more often. So, who is your ideal client? Anyone who is not good enough. So you'll remember, and of course, all the way through this training, we are recapping, recycling around that triangle: the niche, the client, your story, so that we can get the message right in the end. So you'll remember that one of the main mistakes that I've talked about that therapists make in their marketing is trying to appeal to everyone. I went through that in the last module. And when most people think of their clients, they think of multiple people with many different needs. And of course, that is true. You will get multiple people with many different needs. But, many of our clients start the "who are your clients" answer with "anyone who wants what I've got." Well, of course, that's just not good enough if you are serious about building a profitable, sustainable business. So, when you identified your niche, it is likely that you identified the group of clients that you'll be targeting, and now we need to paint a picture of just one person, that ideal client. And, of course, this is all about creating real interaction with a real person. And I want to give you an example here of Harley Davidson. So, why is Harley Davidson so successful? They are successful because they target a 43-year-old accountant who secretly wants to dress up in leather and be feared as they drive through small villages, not because they sell great bikes to anyone who wants a motorbike. Well, of course, do other people other than 43-year-old accountants buy Harley Davidson motorbikes? Of course they do. But they can only market effectively to one person at a time. I'm going to say that again. You can only market effectively to one person at a time. In fact, one of the best pieces of advice I was ever given personally was when I started to do videos. I was told to put a little picture of my ideal client just underneath the lens so that I would really feel like I was talking to that ideal client. And in fact, that's what I do now when I'm talking to you. I have a picture of one person in my mind as to who it is that I am addressing. So let's look at what do potential clients want. When there's so much choice around, clients need to come to your website or meet you or wherever your message is and feel like you are talking to them, not everybody. They need to know immediately that they are in the right place, so that they get that feeling of, oh, relief, I'm in the right place. And they need to get that you get them. So it really is not about flinging out generalized marketing messages. And I'm sure you are getting this message now. I hope so. But, if you fling out generalized marketing messages to everybody, hoping that you hit a nerve somewhere, you are not going to attract anyone. And that is the equivalent of standing in the middle of a field and shouting, "I'm a therapist, come and see me." Of course, I've already said many times already that if you try to appeal to everyone, you appeal to no one. And, there are lots of companies, we can all think of examples of companies who market to everyone. But, the reason we can think of many examples of those is because those companies have very, very deep pockets, and they literally fling millions of dollars at their marketing dollars, knowing that only some of it will stick. That is not what you are in a position to do, and that's why we have to be much more targeted. Okay, so what we do want to do is narrow down the work that you've done already in the niche module and refine it. If you decided that your niche was something that perhaps you suffered from before, before you were cured of your therapy, then this exercise is going to be really, really easy for you because your ideal client is the you before you got help. And or maybe you chose your niche according to your favorite clients, which is also a really good way of doing it. And if you did that, all you need is to pick one. So we're going to do an exercise to create your avatar, in other words, your ideal client. And it's split into two things. So one is above the waterline. Remember the iceberg, that's the top 10%, the stuff that we can see and the information that's easy to get. And then below the waterline, which is the really juicy stuff. So now I just want to make something clear. It is possible that you specialize in more than one area. You know, for example, I don't know, weight loss and smoking, perhaps, you could specialize in two things. In my dreams, I want everybody to specialize in one thing. And I understand that sometimes that's not realistic. So if you specialize in two things, then you need two avatars, two ideal clients. One for weight loss and one for smoking. And you also probably need two websites. You do not want to confuse your clients, because a confused client does not buy. And you will have those two versions. If that's the case, please do this exercise twice. Okay. Every time a prospective client comes to your website or anywhere else, they need to feel like you are talking specifically to them. So if you have two, please don't mix them up. So this exercise is in two parts. The first part is above the waterline, and I'm going to go through the information that I want you to fill in. There is a PDF below this video for you to print out and write on. And once you finish the above the waterline questions, then stop and come back, and in the next video I'll take you through the below the waterline questions. So here goes. This is the exercise you're going to do, and here are the questions. So you need to name this person. They absolutely need to have a name so that you can refer to them and really turn them into a real person. How old are they? Quite often when people start describing their ideal client, they say, oh, this person is between 35 and 45. Well, I would like to describe myself as, between 40 and 50 or something, but I'm not. I'm one age. We are all just the one age. So please put your stake in the ground here with one age. Describe what they're wearing. What's their marital status? Do they have children? And if they do, how old are they and what are they doing? Those children, where are they? What do they do for a living and what is their income level? Where do they live? What sort of area do they live in? Can you start labeling it a bit more specifically? What do they spend their money on now? What do they enjoy doing in their spare time? And what are their likes and dislikes? So go ahead and do that part of the exercise. When you get to that question, stop and come back to the next video.